Good afternoon everybody, my name is Crystal, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm here in Rochester, Kent. I have not gone up to see my mum today. When I spoke with my mum some time ago now, I was going to go up there Monday. I decided not to go because I don't like things that are pre-planned and premeditated. So I decided to stay at home. Alexa, what's the time, please?
It's 12:35 p.m.
So, this morning, I took Max out for a walk by myself as usual onto the Rochester Riverside field, and it was foggy, misty, freezing cold. When I woke up this morning, it was freezing cold. Barclays Bank sent me my bank card last week on a Thursday, and I was able to put my electricity on. I was frozen solid by the afternoon when it arrived. I've been offered no compensation. Apparently, the people that had the Barclays glitch are being compensated. Barclays Bank have given me no compensation at all for disrupting my bank account and leaving me freezing cold. Nothing unusual there. Having shit rubbed in my face, is there? Nothing unusual there. There was a lot of people on the field this morning. There was 3 people walking abreast on the path, which I didn't go anywhere near. There was a woman walking 2 dogs with yellow fluorescent jackets like he wears upstairs when he goes to work first thing in the morning at approximately 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm at home. I'm sometimes afraid to go outside my flat because I was sexually approached just going into a newsagent's to put my gas on my card, and I'm a female, a woman. I was approached by a black man and 2 white men. I'm here in my flat right now trying to keep warm because I don't know what the temperature is right now. I feel cold. Alexa, what's the time, please?
It's 12:37 p.m.
Alexa, what's the temperature?
At the moment, it's 3 degrees Celsius.
Well, it stepped
Tonight, you can expect a low of 3 degrees.
So it stepped up to 3 degrees. It was 0 degrees this morning. Still feel cold though. It's very cold inside the building as well. So I just came back home this morning. My mother had not rung me once. Not once. It gets right near 11:45 and she hasn't rung once. I had 2 poached egg sandwiches with bacon for breakfast. I've had a coffee and I put the heating on just to warm the place up a bit. And I haven't got a washing machine because every time I get a washing machine I come home and find it broken. So I'm hand washing sheets in my sink. Hand washing sheets and heavy materials in my sink because every time I come back from shopping, when I had a washing machine, I discovered it had been broken and tampered with. And you know what it's like in cold weather, drying things as well. So I've got to let heavy sheets, I can't even rinse them. I rinse them with my hands. It takes ages for things to dry. Ages. So I dry them as best as I can by rinsing them with my hands, and then I wait till they're fairly dry, and I've got a dryer that goes over the radiator and I dry them that way. I'm just fed up and tired of being people's entertainment, being laughed at. I'm a woman. The only tiny thing about me is my height. So why people feel the need to intimidate me when I'm a woman and I'm tiny, I don't know. Just now, the buzzer rang. I was almost falling asleep on my sofa. Because when I turn on the central heating, it makes me feel tired. The post lady rang the buzzer. Hazel. Crystal, she said, I've got a really tiny parcel for you. Shall I send it up in the lift? I said, yes, please. Yes, please. I am tiny. I'm a little woman. But I mean, you could be 5'2". That's tiny. I'm 5'5"-ish. So I suppose that's just average height for a woman. Nothing exciting, guys. Nothing exciting. This is a plug. A plug. And this has come from 3 Rochdale Road, London. E17. 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 Charging plug. You see, my tablet that I used to read out the news on is not working. It's not working. So I'm going to try the plug first of all. So we've replaced the plug. I'm going to put the lead in, but I've ordered a new lead as well because the lead might not be working. So we're going to put this into the socket. And see if my charger starts, if my tablet charges, but I've got a feeling that it's the lead itself. No, it's not coming on. So we're just waiting for the lead. So the post lady said she couldn't get it into my letterbox. So she rang the buzzer and this little package was lying on the bottom of the lift floor. Not tiny, very, very tiny. The guy upstairs has gone to work in his fluorescent jacket about 5:45 in the morning. I am now going to try to listen to the radio. When Hazel rang the buzzer, next door started getting noisy against my kitchen wall. It's a black lady, a single black lady with her kids next door. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
We're trying to defend. Musk and his team have been made officially Treasury employees as they start sifting through payment data and literally on his own social media platform last night publishing lists of recipients of Treasury grants that he says he is immediately cancelling, including a whole raft of them that were focused on assistance, including humanitarian assistance. And he's not stopping there. He took to X last night to declare the National Endowment for Democracy a scam. As with USAID, he has inferred that it is a criminal enterprise without any indication of any evidence to support that view. And I suspect at the National Endowment for Democracy's headquarters here in Washington, D.C., they are awaiting the Doge knock on the door. We have not seen anything like this in the modern era, and most extraordinary of all, from the Democrats, absolute cricket. Barely a statement being issued. Very late in the day, Democrats on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee put out a statement asking questions about what had taken place at the Treasury over the weekend. There is no leadership on the Democratic side. There is nothing being done here to enforce the traditional guardrails that in the first term stopped Donald Trump from doing anything that he wants, but now appear to be melting away in face of this onslaught by Elon Musk.
I mean, it is extraordinary, and you run out of superlatives, don't you, Simon? But there is there not a sense, even from behind the scenes, from Republicans on Capitol Hill, concern that Musk is amassing an astounding amount of power?
Well, I think there's definitely concern, but it was notable that not a single Republican signed on to the Democrat statement that was issued by their side on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee demanding answers to what had taken place over the weekend at the Treasury. They are frit. They don't want to put their head above the parapet and do anything to offend the boss. In this case, I think that's still President Donald Trump, although Elon Musk throughout this weekend has made us wonder. They all seem to be in lockstep still about putting even his most contentious nominees on into cabinet positions. I mean, I think the only one that might be in any difficulty is Tulsi Gabbard, his nominee to become Director of National Intelligence. But Kash Patel looks like he's going to waltz into office as the next director of the FBI. A Department of Justice employee got in touch with me over the weekend to ask me why the FBI had not yet arrested Elon Musk, given that it was plain to this Department of Justice employee that Elon Musk is breaking the law, that there are no laws that allow him to do many of the things that he did over the weekend. Well, the answer to that, of course, is that purges have already begun at the FBI, and that's before Kash Patel gets there. So the point that I'm making is that things are moving here very quickly because Musk worked the weekend to engage on what I think in other parts of the world would be described as state capture. You know, private business people, oligarchs taking the levers of power here in Washington, D.C. to benefit and aggrandize their own positions. Because of all of that speed that is being engaged by the Trump team, the system seems unable to keep pace. And I was looking back yesterday at the history of this phrase, state capture. And it was first used by the World Bank in the year 2000 to describe events that were taking place in the post-Soviet states, where powerful oligarchs were slowly co-opting their nation's resources and taking the steering wheel of government in those post-Soviet spaces. And the first report that the World Bank issued defining state capture was actually titled, "Seize the State, Seize the Day." And Elon Musk seized the weekend here. You know, Lewis, Washington's a Monday to Friday town. It's really actually now these days only a Tuesday to Thursday kind of town. Saturday and Sunday, those government offices are deserted. And he deliberately, and he said this on social media, he crowed about it, he deliberately picked this weekend to make his move, and it has left the city reeling.
Is there, do you think, Simon, I mean, we've got the astonishing prospect right now, haven't we? Let's just leave aside the American political element to it and the state capture that you've identified, which is mind-boggling, and my word, are they flooding the zone, to use that Steve Bannon term. But right now, the net result of all of this is that the world's richest man has gone into the offices of USAID over the course of the weekend. He's basically shut it down, which means that some of the world's poorest people will no longer receive some of the humanitarian assistance that they, perhaps life-saving assistance that they had been receiving before.
Yes, absolutely. And this is all part of the plan. I mean, it was on Inauguration Day that Donald Trump published an executive order about international assistance on the part of the United States. I'm just trying to find the text of it here. He declared that America's, and this is a quote, foreign aid industry and bureaucracy are not aligned with American interests and are in many cases antithetical to American values. Now, traditionally, foreign assistance and the fact that the United States, with I think $46 billion that USAID gets to spend, represents more than 40% of the entire world's humanitarian assistance budget, has actually been entirely emblematic of American values. But American values are being redefined by this president. Now, officially, we should say the official White House line is that USAID has simply been folded into the State Department, and that Secretary of State Marco Rubio is now leading a review of its programs to make sure that they align with Donald Trump's policy viewpoints. But Donald Trump has already told us in that executive order he thinks that foreign aid is basically antithetical to American values. So I don't think there's anybody sitting on the edge of their seats, biting their nails, wondering what Marco Rubio is going to conclude when that evaluation period is over. And look, if that evaluation period lasts 90 days, which is notionally what is supposed to take place, those humanitarian assistance programs in far off parts of the world will have come to a complete standstill by then, because they can't operate without cash, they can't operate without supplies, and they can't operate without guidance and direction from USAID in Washington, D.C. So they have deliberately gutted this, and the chance of it emerging in any kind of fashion that looks like what it looked like before is, I think, negligible. There's also going to be a huge challenge here to foreign governments, including our own. I mean, on the morning in which the Prime Minister may well be celebrating the fact that Donald Trump last night indicated that perhaps he's going to be more lenient with the UK when it comes to tariffs than with the European Union, certainly seems to want to drive a wedge between the UK and the European Union in terms of leniency that he seems willing to offer the UK. I mean, the British government is going to find itself in the unenviable position of, on the one hand, needing Trump's largesse when it comes to reduced or perhaps even zero tariffs on trade, but on the other hand, having to sit there and answer questions about what the British government thinks about all the other frenzy of crazy that is taking place here. That's before we get to mass deportations. They withdrew the settlement visas for 600,000 Venezuelans over the weekend, 300,000 of them living in Florida, and those 600,000 people are now susceptible to deportation. They will definitely be targeted by the Immigration, Customs and Enforcement Division of the US government and trucked back to Venezuela, even though they had been told by the United States government, by the Biden administration, that their temporary settlement documents were all in order and for at least the moment they could stay. That's over 500,000 people from Venezuela alone that are now about to be rounded up. What's Britain going to say about that?
Simon Marks there, LBC's Washington correspondent, with a dizzying assessment. That's not because of Simon, but because of the extraordinary pace of events that is taking place in Washington. There is a transformation. It goes back to what I was saying before. There is a transformation of the American state, a transformation of the world economic order, and potentially the world political order unfolding second by second right now. It is hard to keep up. We'll do our best here on LBC, certainly on this show, throughout the course of the week. Lewis Claw here on LBC. The time is 12:53.
Good afternoon, everybody. On and off, I listen to LBC Radio. That's what I listen to. This morning, I was sent a message. It was obviously American, asking me if I needed a dagger for protection. A knife, a dagger. I go outside my front door, walk onto the field, and there's 3 people walking abreast in front of me, hooded. I stay clear of people, I stay out the way, and I keep myself to myself. I do feel I'm being intimidated. I just have to protect myself and keep myself safe. and that's what I'm doing. Before Hazel rang my buzzer, I was just sat on my sofa, minding my own business, keeping quiet. Next door's noisy. My mum has not rung this morning. I'm going to check my phone. I'm sure she's rung after I was supposed to go up there and see her today. I'm going to get on with what I was doing and see if I'm again disturbed. See you later.